Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
No, I think I got it straightened around.
Good morning.
When I turned on for the Facebook ads.
We got to do a class in getting everybody's profile picture. Alex, I see you've got your profile picture up there so that I can see faces when you guys don't use your video. For those of you guys who don't know, hi, Kristen. There is a chat button. Thank you, Erin, for starting that. It may be blinking yellow at you. You can use that button for questions. I'll go over that in just a minute. But if you don't wish to speak, please feel free to use the chat button. We've got just a couple of seconds, well, minutes, sorry, before we start today. And I wanted to jump on early and just kind of get some ideas as to where everybody's at and who's run ads, what questions you have. I see a bunch of our Market Center tech trainers on here. I'm super excited to see familiar names. So who's got questions? Who's run an ad? Tell me something good this morning. Somebody's got something. Kristen, have you run an ad?
Not yet,
No?
but my goal is to do it this week.
Okay, Janice, how about you? I see you on there as well. Good morning.
I have not. That's why I'm kind of here to,
Awesome.
figure out how to do it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Amanda, I see you on there too. Looking at all my Market Center tech trainers, we'll have to do an intro day.
I've not run one personally, but I've helped multiple agents in the office run them.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully today we're going to come out of here and we're all going to run one. How's that? And start getting our leads in. So we've got about 2 minutes. I want to respect the time that we said we would start. If you have questions, feel free to share them in the chat button or to unmute briefly. I will ask everybody at the beginning to mute themselves. Hi, James. So that we can control the volume. And this is kind of a big class with a lot of information. So I'll go somewhat quickly and then take some time at the end to answer questions. I love seeing all the names light up here. It's fun to get to know you guys even just by your names. Okay, I've got 1 minute left before we start. Is there anybody here who has run an ad yet? Awesome. A bunch of newbies. Well, thank you guys for jumping on with me today. I'm super excited and just share some things with you. And we are going to, I'm going to start sharing my screen so that you can see it. And just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this here. All right, so you should be able to see my screen now. And I do have multiple monitors going at one time. And so I am going to, if I'm not looking at you at all the time, that's why. And can everybody see the social media campaigns screen at this point? Yes, Kristen, thank you. Kristen always, I don't know why, but every time we have a class, she gets put at the top of my picture list. And so she's like become my designated help to answer questions. Sorry about that, Kristen, you get it. And thank you guys for posting in the chat button as well. So today we're going to talk about social media campaigns and how to run one. But I want to talk to you just a little bit about the why we need to run them, and it's changed just even a little bit in the past couple of days before we get into the specifics of how to run them. If you will, bear with me through the important stuff, because I'm hoping that you guys will learn some of this and then you'll take it back and share it with other agents. A lot of people don't understand the value in why command is different than running your own campaigns on Facebook itself. And so I think it's super important for those of us in the Keller Williams world to understand the why before we understand the how, because that's how we communicate our value. And so I am going to go through and show you guys some of the important things about what's going on with social media and why Command is special in regards to some of the social media that we've got set up before I get into the actual how to run your ad. But we will get to that part. And if at any point you need to jump off and not get to that part because we do get into talking too much, please reach out to me and let me know, and I will share the video with you. I don't just put the videos out there because I want to leave it open for conversation, and sometimes those conversations may get into an area that we don't want to put on social media. So, but I'll be happy to share it with those of you that are in the class. Expectations for the class, I'm going to ask everybody to just mute their microphone. We have probably over 50 people last time I checked on this call, and so having microphone feedback will be really difficult. So if you will mute your microphone, that would be awesome. And then we'll have a time at the end to ask questions, but if you have a question between now and then, please just put it in the chat feature. If you're not familiar with Zoom, there is a button down at the bottom, usually, sometimes at the top, depending on how your menu screen is located, and it's green, and there's a feature there that'll say chat. And so if you'll put your questions in there at the end of the class, I'm going to go back and answer all of those questions. Last but not least, I'm Shannon Dager. I'm the Regional Technology Director for the Ohio Valley region. So I am super excited to meet you all online and to teach you. If you haven't met me, please reach out. If I can help you with anything, we're here to help. And I know that this is a little bit of a trying time. So this is new for all of us, teaching exclusively through Zoom. But if I can help you, please let me know. And also, I love coffee, so you're going to see me keeping my throat wet just a little bit so I don't have a coughing fit, and you'll get to see me drinking coffee quite a bit. So Command, why is Command more effective, and why do you need to run the ads? That's what we're going to cover today. And why you need campaigns. So I was reading Shift this morning, and I hope you guys are all taking the time, especially right now, to read it. And I'm trying to go back through it and look at it through a different lens and through a technology lens. And this particular section that was right, what do we call it here? And I've got it right here, the market shifts, is the first section in the book. And it says, if you don't shift fast, your lag time will parallel the market and you may be at risk. Gary's been very clear that we've entered a recession and that you don't always predict it, but that it can happen very quickly. And so to thrive in the upshift that will be coming, because they always come, you must first survive the downshift. And so we are in that downshift, and I want to help you and teach you how to survive the downshift. And maintaining your market share right now is going to be the next step in surviving that. So we are definitely going to get to best strategies and practices as well for Facebook leads. So I wanted to show you this slide. I just got this morning. My husband is a cybersecurity expert, and I asked him to look at some things. In the past 24 hours, internet usage has gone up. Oops, sorry about that. I'm a clicker, so I went back. Let me get back here. Let's get back onto that slide so you can see it. Internet usage has gone up 48% in the past 24 hours. So sign of a coronavirus is you have more opportunity right now than ever to be in front of your sphere and increasing your spheres through social media reach. In the United States alone, it made up 34% of the web traffic in the past 24 hours. So pretty amazing. And I'm going to do a spot later on Facebook about why this is important and how to reach out to and increase your referral.
I'm not going to be able to come in there.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have you mute your mic if you don't mind. I think that's you, Jeannie. I'm going to mute. Yeah, there we go. And please don't worry if that happens to you, because I do know that it happens when we're just when we're busy. So it's okay. I'll try to mute you if you accidentally come off. So let's talk about that. And I want to talk to you about buyer behavior patterns, and we've got quite a few slides on this. I'll go somewhat fast, but I think it's important that you grab a few of these. And again, if you need to reach out to me at the end, I would love for you to teach this in your market center, so I'm happy to share these slides with you. 79% of US home buyers used an online resource at some point in their search. And so I put this in here. Everybody I'm talking to is saying that they're still writing a ton of contracts. Their open houses are still going. We'll see how that changes, but how has this changed in the past few days? I can't imagine that 79% has decreased in the past couple of days. 50% of buyers only talk with one agent before deciding who to work with. US consumers are spending 3 hours a day on mobile devices, and we're going to talk about that from a real estate agent perspective as well. And these are all exclusive statistics that were given to me in a closed Facebook meeting with Facebook executives. So more than 55% of the total time spent with media is on digital now. That's all media. That includes your television, that includes your publications, your newspapers, your print media as well. So more than 70% of people in the US are using smartphones and nearly 50% are using tablets. 1 in 3 media minutes were spent on mobile in 2019. That's 1 in 3, that's 33%. A third of all of our time is spent on mobile media. 8 out of 10 people reported using their smartphones to interact with local businesses, and 3 out of 4 Facebook users in the US say they visit the Facebook page of a local business at least once a week. So right now, this is your time to capture this 3 out of 4 people. And if they're going to visit a local business, you need to be that business of choice. 209 million Americans access Facebook every month. That's 80% of our entire population. And so that is why I'm going to talk a little bit about Instagram too, but why I'm primarily focusing on Facebook is 80% of our population is using it on a regular basis. 1 hour and 15 minutes is the average time on social media every day. I can tell you, if you remember that first slide that we looked at, that has gone up quite a bit in the past 24 hours, and every 24 hours from here on, I think we will see the same increase. Facebook averages 38 minutes a day, where Instagram averages 26 minutes per day. These are the top leading social media platforms, and so I have all kinds of stats and statistics of Twitter and WhatsApp, and WhatsApp's actually third here. I would have thought it would be something else, but it goes Facebook, Instagram, and then WhatsApp as your top social media platforms. Half of Generation Z and 42% of millennials say social media is the most relevant ad channel. That is unbelievable to me. 65% of home buyers say they're influenced by their online friends' home buying posts on social media. This is a time to capture your previous clients and make sure that they're sharing information about your page on there. All right, so that's the why we're going to do it, and I want to be, and I know that that was a lot of statistics. I'm happy to share them with you, but I want you to understand how vitally important it is that you're active on social media right now and understand why you need to give it a chance. Everything in Command isn't always perfect, and everything when you're learning isn't always perfect. So it's super important that we have some patience to get the system right. I'm going to show you specifically what ads I've run and what success I've had, and I'm going to share with you the exact wording. And I'm happy to literally copy and paste and send that to you so that you can copy and paste it and use it in an ad yourself. So, but it's important that you understand the background as to why you need to do it. So mobile videos and stories open the door to connecting with people. And that's really the super important part, is the connection. Video is the most successful, and I'll show you that in just a minute, the most successful way of connecting with people. And I think after talking to agents and teaching agents, it's the part that we're all most uncomfortable with. Most people will say they would rather die than speak in public. And so that's literally, what would you rather do? And death was right higher than speaking in public. And so when we're on video, we feel a little bit like that. But that's the connection point and the part that makes you real. And so messing up is okay. And that's good, because I'm going to probably mess up a few times in this presentation. So I'm a real person sitting over here doing that. 58.39 billion digital video and on ad spend in the US. That's what we're reaching in 2023. So we're growing at double-digit percentages year over year. 235.1 million video views in the US are for nearly 83% of the internet users. This is just for video, guys. 41% by 2021. And then we've got the power of mobile video to grow awareness. You're 2 times more likely than static images, this is using video, ads to create emotional responses at faster exposure speeds. Remember, we're talking about connecting with people. So connecting with people, you're 2 times more likely to connect through video than you are with static image ads. I'll be happy to share the material. 17% of a higher conversion rate for static plus video. So we're 2 times more likely to, if we use a video, but we're 17% more likely if we use a combination of static and video images. So if you can have a slide at the beginning and a slide at the end and a video in the middle, or vice versa, you could do a video at the beginning because it really captures people's attention, then you have the slide at the end. So I recommend that you mix that up a little bit because some people are intimidated when they see a video come onto the screen and they don't want to click on it. And so if you have that static image, they're more likely to engage with you from the beginning. However, as we saw, the Gen Z age group is much more likely to engage with video. And so if you start with the video with them and finish with the static on your brand and ad placement, it's super helpful. Embrace mobile first creativity. So what does that mean? 27% higher likelihood of driving brand lift through mobile first. And so that's focusing on your mobile devices. And we're going to talk about how Command does that a little bit. 23% higher likelihood of driving message association when compared with video ads that aren't optimized for mobile. So you want to make sure that when you are doing video that you are optimizing that video for it to show through on a mobile screen. And the best way to do that, honestly, in my opinion, is to take it on your mobile screen. And so if you don't like holding your phone and doing video that way, then just grab yourself a cheap little tripod or device that'll help you. So the normal Facebook ad or social media ad, I should say, this is focused around Facebook and this came from Facebook, but the normal ad is 200 steps to create a normal ad. Now that starts with the login process. So, and we don't even all recognize that those are steps we're taking along the way. But there are 200 steps that we go through to create a normal ad. So with 80% of agents using Facebook to market homes for sale, the vast majority, it makes sense that you need to set aside time to complete those tasks. 9 hours each week are spent by real estate agents to make ads. 9 hours a week. That is almost a quarter of your workday. And so, a quarter of your work week. If you can create an ad in Facebook in 15 minutes in Command, what kind of leverage is that for you? I mean, that's astonishing to me. And I believe it because there's a huge number of people on this call and we're all on this call because it's hard. And so, but I can tell you right now, I can click and make a Facebook ad in about 5 minutes. So the reality is now with Keller Williams Command, there's an easier and better way to understand the value of Facebook and Instagram advertising. So I'm going to go back just for a minute and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this and what I heard from the Facebook executives is that Keller Williams Command and Facebook have a partnership. And so when you're doing a Command ad, it's very different than going into Facebook and doing your own ad. And that's because we have super targeted behind the scenes programming that has been developed with Facebook specifically. And Facebook has worked with our developers as well to make sure that the targets that we have behind the scenes, things that you aren't seeing, are truly reaching those people that you want to reach. And so I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But that's why you're seeing so many more clicks per lead, so many more clicks per ad, and the prices for our ads being driven down. It's because the effectiveness of a Command Facebook ad is so much more powerful because of the programming that Facebook and Command have done together. So boosting a post is not the same thing as an ad. And a lot of people think this. I think this is a big mistake for agents. We're spending a lot of money in it. So they'll say, well, I did an ad and it didn't work. That's because they boosted a post a lot of times. And so, and I did this too when I was back in real estate and learning too. And so this is not the same. So where boosted posts sorry, I'm going to move something here so I can make sure that you guys are aware of this. Where a boosted post may initially optimize for pages, likes, and comments and shares of overall brand awareness, Facebook ads are optimizing for app installs, website conversions, video views, shop orders, and more. And so I want to stop for a second and think about what that means. So a boosted post is initially optimizing for likes, comments, and shares for the overall brand awareness. But Facebook ads are optimized for all of the things, for the artificial intelligence people are doing behind the scenes. And so that's the difference. And so if you boost an ad, the likes and the comments and the shares, that's what's getting you awareness in your brand and out there. Where an ad is specifically targeting things that your clients, your consumers, your Facebook guests are doing behind the scenes and not necessarily always on Facebook. And that is how they're targeting people from there. So it is not the same, much more effective to do an ad. Status updates and organic posts on Facebook are not ads, okay? And they're seen by less than 3% of your page's followers. So when you update a status or you post a picture in your status on Facebook and then you boost it, that's why you're getting less. If and I've said this to a couple of offices that I've talked to, a lot of people are posting on Facebook, and our fear as a real estate agent is that we're saturating our friends and our family and our sphere of influence with our real estate posts, and that we're going to isolate them. The reality is, and this comes straight from Facebook executives, is that people on your Facebook page only see 3% of the ads that timeline that you're posting. So if you're not posting on a regular basis about real estate, they're going to miss out. They are not seeing everything on your page unless they actually go to your page and look at your everything you've posted. It's not showing up on their timeline. This is why you're seeing things maybe 5 days later that are showing up because somebody you knew finally clicked. So 3% of what you put on there is getting shown to your followers. So we need to be sharing on there, and don't think that your timeline posts are saturating them, and don't be scared to run an ad and target them as well so that they see that you're top of mind. Ads give you more reach, advanced targeting potential as well. We'll go into that. Here's the good one. So let's talk about the actual how-to. So we know we want to use video and we want to use static ads, and a combination of both is the best, but video is definitely by far super important. So top tips for Facebook ads. This is something that all of the regional technology people put together that we've seen work time after time after time. So use eye-catching images, of course. Use video is better. Emojis and white space are super important. So white space is that space between. So it does help. You can go in there and put a small sentence, but it also helps to put a small sentence with a few emojis, skip down a couple of paragraphs, and do another sentence. People are attracted to that. It's like a safety parameter. And so using some white space in your ad is a good idea. Use 3 key elements. You want to start with an attention grabber, a line of user value. What are you bringing for them? And then a call to action. So, amazing ranch home might be your title because everybody loves a good ranch home, right? And then a line of user value. What is it that you're bringing to them? Don't want to miss this house at a great price. So something with some value in there. This is if you're looking at your own brand, what are you delivering? What is your unique user value message that you can offer here? If you have a concierge service, if you focus on customer service, if you focus on ranch homes, what is that user value? You want to put that right there, secondary. And then call to action. A lot of people forget that part. Don't be scared to ask them to call you or to reach out to you or to connect with you. And Facebook isn't keen on running ads with the word you in them. So that's going to be super helpful in getting your placement there. And you can, and I put this in there, you can use the word you are, yourself, but the word you is not, is something about Facebook ads and their targeting. They don't like it. The most common question I get has to do with this right here. There are certain types of products that can't be advertised on Facebook. Firearms and supplements. Any company that seems like you could be advertising those products will be flagged. Oopsie. See, I told you I'm a clicker and I'd make a mistake, so there you go. Also alcohol and mortgages. So the one that I get the most questions on are mortgage ads. And I know we want to make people aware of mortgages and Keller Mortgage, and I think you absolutely need to be doing that. However, an ad is not the place necessarily to do that. And so if you try to run a Keller Mortgage ad or something that mentions mortgages, it will often sit in pending status and you will not get approval. And so we see a lot of support tickets come through for that. And so that is probably not the most effective way to run an ad. Also alcohol, and that pertains to images with alcohol. So if you have in your image, you know, happy hour photos or something where you're sitting with some friends and you're using that as a social reach, that is probably going to be flagged and sit in pending status as well. Facebook's advertising policy is more than a dozen pages long. And so a lot of the Facebook programmers and the people I spoke with said they don't even necessarily know all of the details in and out of that Facebook advertising policy. So these are Facebook guidelines. These are not command guidelines, and we have no way to get around them. So it's most effective to just follow them and get your ad approved and get it out there. Speak naturally and don't sound like an ad. And that just takes some practice. So record yourself and in these videos and watch yourself back. If you can bear the pain of it, I finally just had to accept that and stop watching myself because it was so painful. Use buzzwords. Buzzwords like free and no strings attached are huge. Anything else that is a key element is great. Running an A and B ad to filter effectiveness. So what does this mean? Running two ads at the same time simultaneously, everything the same but one factor. It might be the number of days that you run that ad. I've run it, some of them I run 5 days, some of them I run 7 days, and some of them I run 10 days. And that kind of tells you what the effectiveness is and your daily spend. You might change the picture out or change the video out. Many different ways of doing it. What we talked about before, putting your video first or putting your video at the end. You might run that both directions so that you see which way is reaching your audience most effectively. Split your advertising dollar up and then you'll see that. And then always use the Facebook lead generation form, and we will go into what that is when we actually make an ad in just a few minutes. And I'll show you that. But if you are not using this and you're saying, I'm getting 550 impressions, but I don't have a single lead, odds are good that this is the problem. You're not using the Facebook lead generation form. So when it asks you that at the end, that is what you want to do. All right, so here's my ad recommendations based off of my successes, and different people have different recommendations, but I think that they're all very similar to this. So I've had the most success with shorter ads and a larger spend over a shorter period of time. And by that, I'm not spending a lot, $20 to $30. If I do $30, I do 7 days. If I do $20, I do 5 days. And I like to spend more per day and not necessarily run it longer, and I get a higher reach that way. Video and static combination, I've already talked about that. And then these are my targets, and we've had discussion about whether or not targeting is increasing. I find that you can get just as many impressions and just as many leads without targeting. However, the quality of the lead is better when you're more specific about who the ads are going to reach, because you actually know that they have a genuine interest in what they're clicking on and what they're doing. So I look at brokerages. So I always target Zillow and Realtor.com, sometimes Trulia. Any brokerages that you know of are big. In Cincinnati, we have Cincy Klein, so I would probably do that for a local ad. Whatever your local ad is, that's what I go with. Distance is 10 miles or less for me. You can go up to 20 miles. And that is a Facebook standard. You can't go further out, though I have seen recently they've changed that just a little bit. So I don't even want to speak to what the rules are. But if you were using Facebook ads through campaign in the beginning, we were stuck with a 20-mile limit. And I don't know if they'll bring that back or even have in the past day or two, because we changed so quickly. But I noticed last week they had increased the mileage limit. That's a Facebook controlled requirement. And then you're going to target interest. So what type of interest do your people use? I always try for first-time home buyer. If it's going to be specific to your community, so if it's a golf community, I would do yoga and golf and fitness activities and hiking and things like that. If it's, you know, you might look at like realtor.com, you could look at that. You can look at HGTV, that's a big one. I would target refinancing, home equity loans. We could go on and on about that. And if you have any more questions on that, let me know. But think about people and what they're doing before they're buying a house. And generally, they're thinking about making changes, especially in the shifting market. Is it cheaper just to stay in my house versus to buy? Those are the questions that they're going to look at. So painting and decor, things like that are great for interest. And then last but not least, I always say, and this is something I had to learn, after you have gone to your Facebook lead generation form, it wants to know what URL you're going to lead it to afterwards. And I like to lead that to my app page, and so where they can get my personal app, and so that's the page that I lead them to your website if that is good as well. All right, these are the actual ads, and I promised you I would get into these a bit, and we will go into campaigns as well, and I'll walk through an ad. But these are a couple of the ads that I've run recently, and I'm showing you the results on these. So on these, I've gotten down to 12 cents per click, $1.25 per lead. I have these actively working now, and I would say I have about a 2% of active conversion rate for all of my ads for actual leads that turn into potential buyers. We're not looking at immediate sales. These are definitely nurture leads. I have a few that are looking to buy in the next 12 months. I don't buy or sell, so I filter these out to other agents, but I do ask for them to keep me updated on them. And so I ran both of these for 5 days, and 173 clicks in 5 days, 16 leads, and $1.25 per lead on this one. And I'm going to go into the specifics on this lead as well. So this is the actual text, and I'm going to hold here for just a second while I go through it. If you want to take a picture of the screen, please feel free to take a picture of the screen. And I'm also going to send this slide deck out to everybody so you'll have it. If you will put your email in the chat box, or email me and I'll send it to you as well. And so I see a lot of people doing that in the chat, and I'm happy to send those to you. So this is the ad I ran. I work closely with Nick Baldwin. I want to give him complete credit for this because I literally copied him word for word. He gave me permission to do that, and he gave me permission to share this with you to do this as well. And so, so you can tell there's a mixture of emojis on here, and then a really nice picture that is attention drawing, and then what is that value that we're going to give them? New listings every 15 minutes, and that's a big deal, so they get excited about that. And then click here to learn more. So that's the first ad I ran. So hopefully you guys have all got my picture of it. All right, and then let's talk about the second ad I ran. And this one was running still with 1 day left to run. And so you've got $139, well, $139 would be a lot. $1.39, you can see I did $30 here, was my target, and I still had a day left to run. So this got a little bit more after this, but I had 486 clicks in 7 days, 22 leads, and $1.32 per lead over those 7 days. So this is the ad I ran, and this one I did myself. This one, sorry, Nick, was a little bit more effective, and I didn't even use emojis. But this one I was trying with the wording to just connect a little more quickly with everybody. Same picture, I just tried to change out one thing. There's no place like home, there's no place like this. And I was just playing with the wording a little bit. I also think that this grabbed a lot of attention because it was 11 acres and 5,800 square feet of space. And so trying to use capital letters and trying to be attention grabbing was good. Magic, this was actually Josh Teams gave me this. How many times have we heard automagically since family reunion? And obviously Magic clicked. And so that was where I grabbed this headline from and just said, I'm just going to give it a try. And it was super powerful. So highly recommend that. And again, I'll stick here for just a second. And I'm going to look through the ads or the questions. Can I show again the other ad? Sure, I'll go back. All right, so here we go. So there's the other ad, Eric, for you. And I see all of the emails, and I will send these out before the end of the day today. Okay, so now I'm going to go forward. And we're actually going to walk through the steps of running an ad next. So I'm going to put this right here for you to see. And you've got my cell phone there, so feel free to text me. It's 404-597-0580. I'm showing you this. We're not done yet. We're going to go through the command ad, and then I'll do a question and answer session for you. But I want you to have my information in case you have questions. If for any reason you don't get the slides, I will email them to everybody, but in case they get caught in spam, or I'm human and I might also make a typo. So in the event of that, please let me know, and I will be happy to resend them to you. So please take my information. In addition, as much as I appreciate you being on this class, I want you to know that you have a tech trainer in your office, and that is meeting with me weekly to help you and to train you. So if you need help connecting with them or with me, please reach out and don't hesitate. That's what we're here for, and we want to help you. We know that everybody's going through a lot. So next I'm going to open command and walk you through an ad. I want to make sure that my share is showing to you. Good, okay. So, okay, we're in the starting spot for a command, and I always go through every initial step, so bear with me. For those of you who already know them, we're going to click the KW to open the menu. Everybody comes in at a different place, so I always want to show that, that this will hold your menu open. And then we're going to go straight to campaigns. And I'm going to click create a new campaign. I'm going to click social ad. There's a lot of reasons for using different things, but I always do the social ad on a Facebook campaign. It's the only way you can do this. So we're going to enter the campaign name. This is just for your reference, so good practice. I usually use an address, and I don't even know what I'm going to pull up yet, so I'm just going to pull up 200 Maple Street is what I'm going to call it. And I say I don't know what ad I'm going to show you yet because I don't actually have any listings. So we're going to steal a listing off of somebody else's, and I'm going to walk you through that. So a lot of questions come in over these buttons in what you should choose. And there's not a right answer to that necessarily, but you have to think about what you're trying to do. I personally like the attracting buyers. If somebody is thinking about buying, they're often thinking about selling. And so I like to see both sides of that. And I think that you can capture both sides of a person's potential transaction by attracting buyers. Attracting listings also has great results for me in advertising a listing as well. But I personally, again, I like to use attract buyers. It just has been, it has proven to me in my A/B campaigns that I've gotten the most return on that. And I've heard that from multiple people as well. So I'm just going to put that out there, and you guys can play with it a little bit and do some things for yourself. These buttons are what we have with Command, where we've done the programming behind the scenes with Facebook. And so these have specific targets with Facebook as to where to put ad placement. And so this is where you're seeing the benefit of working through Command and Facebook ads, and why you're seeing things be so successful. So today we're doing a Facebook class, so I'm just going to do attract buyers, and I'm going to do Facebook. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to do advertise listing. I just want to see something myself really quick. So we'll go with advertise listing. It's going to take a second, pull it up, and I have no idea why that red is there, so that's always interesting. I'm not really sure what that's about, but we'll just ignore that. And so if you have listings and you don't see your listings immediately pop up, don't be alarmed. Sometimes that happens. Just click over here on this button that says all listings. For myself, I don't have listings, so it's not unusual to see it blank, but I have seen other agents who say my listings aren't showing up, and that's okay. Just click all listings and then go back, and it often will reset itself to your listings. So for me, it's not going to do that because I don't have any. And so as I mentioned before, you can, I'm going to just grab an ad, and these are not just Keller Williams ads that are showing up. And so you can search for any property here. You can see how many properties are showing up here. And I'm going to go look here, and you can scroll property address, MLS number, or listing agent. So you can do that multiple ways. And I'm just going to actually grab a property right here. And it's funny because I think I've grabbed this property in other demos as well. And so you may have seen this one before, so it hasn't sold. And so what we need to do is work through each step of this campaign setup to where this box looks like this button looks like this button. And so we're looking for a green check in every section. So name and goal right here, this is what we got from the beginning. So if you change your mind, you can change it right here, and that's totally fine. You can change your listing right here as well. And yes, I'm going to send you this. So I will send you, Ashley, if you'll send me an email to shannon.dager@facebook.com, I'll send you this video. Again, for those of you who jumped on late, I'm Shannon Dager. I'm the Regional Technology Director. I want to say this. My email is shannon.dager@kw.com. If you would like a copy of this video, please email me and I will send it to you. No problem. So if you missed the beginning, I'll send it to you. I'm also happy to send you the slides as well. So you can change the listing right here if you'd like to, and just go right in there and auto-populate and choose a different one, the same way we chose the first one. So I don't have a circle with a green check here, so I'm going to configure. And it automatically is pulling up the information that was in the MLS. So we don't usually put emojis in the MLS as much, so this is not as much fun as maybe we want it to be. And I like for it to be fun. We want it to connect, and that is good practice. So move-in ready home with low maintenance and cheaper than rent. I don't know. That doesn't really connect with me, and this is just me. So I'm going to say, I always find ranch home, and I'll say shows beautiful. Shows amazing. Let's say shows amazing. And right down here you have the emojis button, and I'm going to click on there and it'll let you look. You can search here for keywords. I don't know if amazing is going to give me a keyword. It did, it gave me this. So I could use that. I could use this. And what it does is it places it all the time at the end. And so you'll have to copy. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to just paste it right here. Fenced yard, love that. Newer roof, I don't think we need this. We're limited on the number of characters, so I don't love the word newer. I like almost new. New roof. And I don't like this to be very long either, because we're just trying to connect with them. And so I think I like the word updated. Almost new roof and recently updated to show to your dream home. There you go. So check it out today, while before gone. Okay. Yeah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, click learn more for more photos. And so I'm going to put this, one of the my favorite little emojis here is the hands down button, which if we scroll, we'll find it, but I'm also going to find it right here. And so I'm going to put this here, paste, and I'm going to say, I'm going to Control V all that. So you can change this wording to however you like, and then we're going to move on to the headline. So the headline is this part right here, and you're going to put, let's see, more space than you can imagine. I don't know if that has a lot more space, but we're going to go with that for today because it is, this looks to me like I would say that just because it's a smaller picture. And so check out this house before it's gone. I don't want to spend too much time doing the specifics here, as I would rather get into showing you guys some of the other stuff and leaving time for questions. Check out this house before it's gone. And so again, I would probably add some emojis there, and I would definitely add this button. I also like to do this line of text to where it almost ends right here on the Learn More, and you get the down arrows pointing at it. It makes for a really good graphic. And so you can click Save Add Text, Configure, and just make sure that you like the pictures that it's there. If you don't, you can click on Add More. And I would definitely add that picture and kind of pick the settings that you like. I would add that one for sure and go with that. You can configure your images right here by moving this around, shrinking this. It's as large as it'll go from a width perspective. But sometimes it is nice to have the square one-on-one and kind of highlight a certain feature. So for me, I personally like the wide one. I'm going to hit save. Yes, emojis are now showing up on ads. So good question. There was a period of time where emojis were not showing up, but I assure you it did not change any of the success of my ad in any way, but they are showing up. And so I'm going to say save add media. You may need to include an ownership statement. That's up to your state. And then now we're going to talk about the part that we get lots of questions on, configuring. So configuring, this is going to come on what is your business page. You have to have a business page to run a Facebook ad. So I am going to just select my business page right there. And then this is the part that I was telling you was really vital. If you're getting a lot of views but not any leads, you probably have done a site or landing page. So, which also does work if you're doing something for an open house or something and you have a lead generation form on that page, you can do that if you've created a landing page. Whole nother class though. For my ease of use, and because I can do this page now in less than 10 minutes, I always use the Facebook lead generation form. $30, 10 minutes, and you give me 16 leads, can't beat it. You have the ability to change the call to action here, and it would totally depend on what you are looking for. I find sign up when you're using your app to be pretty successful, but when I'm doing a listing or buyer awareness, they like the word learn more. And follow-up destination URL, this is the part where I was talking about, lead them to some of your technology. So you can choose your site based off of your websites and where you want to send them. If you want to send to a mortgage calculator and you have that on your page, you can. I like to send them to my app page, and so that they'll hopefully download my app. Ad targeting. I'm gonna, Tammy or Ashley, I'll let you know about finding your app URL. Ad targeting. So we can use custom settings here, and I will click on that, and I highly suggest you do that. If you are doing an ad and you just want your sphere to know, target your database. That's everybody that's in your command. And this is why it is so important that you have a rich database and that you take the time to grab their social media links and include them in their contact card. So when you run this ad, you can, let's say it is to attract listings. The majority of your business should be coming from your sphere. So you really want to make sure your sphere sees what's on there. If you target your database, it's going to pop up on their page as the ad, and that's super effective. However, if I'm targeting buyers, I want a much broader audience and not just my friends and family. So location, search location, you can put in whatever whatever you would like to put in as your search location. I would not put in Topeka, Kansas because I don't live there, but this home is there, and so I'll just select that. You can change that though as well and change your radius. This is where I was telling you I thought that they had enlarged it from 20 miles. I like to stay within 10 miles. Well, 15 is apparently the limit today. So 15 miles is what we'll go with today. I did 10 last time. So they're playing with this all the time based off of what our performance is showing. And so I look at it like, if my sphere is located mainly around my home, and that's for me, that may be different for you. I do business near where I live and where I work. And so I try to keep that close there, and so that when I'm looking for buyers, I feel like they're higher quality if they're nearby. That may not be true because you have relocation people from other areas. However, for the purposes of my ads, that's what I try to focus on. I can also have that conversation about going broader and getting more leads. But I think the broader you go, the more you're watering down the money that you're spending. And so I really try for rich engagement, and I would rather have those higher quality leads. Here's where we're going to add or change interests. And target that. Some people don't even do this because they just want a larger number of leads. Again, I'm trying for rich, real, true leads here. So I would just type in realtor.com and that will come up. And I'll save that. And you don't have to save every time. You can go back in here and go Zillow. Anything that you think your local people are using to look for homes, you would want to target here. Home equity. If I just type in home, it'll give me a lot of different things. You can go home repair. You could do mortgage. Mortgage calculator. That's somebody who's looking. And then I just click Save Selection. So I usually do try to choose 5 to 6 different interests. You want to make sure that you have a large enough audience. This is 37 million. That sounds like a huge audience, but I'm only talking about within 15 miles. So you want to make sure that you have a large enough audience. I think if you choose Zillow, you're always going to have a large enough audience right now, but we're going to change that. And so I'm going to do Save Facebook Ad. And that's it. And now I can publish the campaign. So I've got my credit card saved on file. I'm not going to actually create this campaign, but I would do so by creating campaign, and then I would be notified of that. And this is giving me a summary of what I've chosen to do as well, but I'm not advertising a house in Topeka. And so that's the simple part about running a Facebook ad. And I'm going to go back to paid ads here. And I'll show you a few things on the campaigns page before we open it up for questions. And I see a couple of questions coming in, and I will get to you. I'm not ignoring you. And so this is what it looks like when you have run campaigns. And you can click on this, and I think sometimes these things aren't very obvious. So you can click right here on your name, and a copy of your ad should pop up. So let's hope that that does. It's just taken a second today. There we go. And so this is an ad that I ran for my app to show it. And you can see, like, sometimes ads you don't get a ton of clicks. And this one I did pretty decent for an app campaign. But it just all kind of depends. I think on this one I went for brand awareness. No, actually my goal is here. I attracted buyers here. And so depending on what you're looking for, I've done them before on brand awareness, and I don't always worry about too much about how many clicks I have as much as I do impressions. So I think sometimes that's important to note as well. But you can click on here and see the specifics of any ad you've done, and you can see what it looks like on different types of views. So as we talked about before, a large majority of people are using their phone all the time. So you want to make sure that it looks good on their phone as well, and that it's optimized for that. So that's what my ad would look like on the phone. Okay, so that is Facebook ads in a nutshell, and we have about 9 minutes left, and I want to go through and ask questions or answer questions. And so I am going to, I'll read them out if I haven't read them out already. So hey Jill, I talked to Brian Jackson the other day, so I know your name, and look forward to chatting with you soon. Did you notice that the text and URL below the picture disappeared when she chose her Facebook business page? Why is that? I noticed it started doing that in the past few days or weeks. I didn't notice that. So let's see if we can run back and look at that again. I'm just gonna do it real quick here, y'all. So did you notice that the text and URL below the picture, let's see, select. There we go. Okay, so the text and URL below the picture disappeared when she chose her Facebook business page. I don't know why that is. That's a great question. But that's why that's one I'm going to ask and get back to you on. It does not, never had that not appear on an ad. I generally do see my ads pop up on Facebook, and so I'll have to find out about that and check it out. I don't know. Good question. Is there a way to filter out realtors? No, not yet. Good question. What is the best practice for team members posting team listings? Best practice would be to ask their permission. And so I often, when I was buying and selling, and when I was a team leader, we had kind of an open policy in our office that you could put it on our closed Facebook group and ask if anybody had an open ad with you, or an open listing, sorry, I'm reading questions as they come up. If anybody had a new listing that they would allow you to advertise. I never ever had a failure of somebody not to get a listing. So I just think you ask their permission, and almost all the time you're paying for their advertising. So they're usually very happy to allow you to post their listings. But I would definitely ask permission first and make sure that you get that. Next question, I tried multiple listings and loaded everything and I am getting errors. You tried multiple listings and you loaded everything and you're getting errors. Okay. I'm assuming that you mean in the name and goal, advertise multiple listings right here. Okay, doesn't want to let me change that. And this is where the thing we have to have a little patience sometimes. I do not want to save the campaign, and I'll start it again, and maybe we've got a pause on that. So sometimes when we notice things that aren't working, we will pause them. And by we, I mean KW. Programmers will pause them just temporarily. So you'll see things that don't work just for a few days. That's because we've noticed a better way to do it, or we've found that it's not working for some reason. You have to remember that everything's working with a lot of other systems and that are out there on the internet when things show up. So if it's not working correctly, then they may be taking a second to go back in and reprogram something behind the scenes, but let's check. And so let me see. So David, let's see. I see that you said you could share your screen. I'm going to hold on that for 1 minute. In this particular situation, I'm getting a carousel media asking for filling in required fields, but there's nothing to fill in. Okay. So let's try this. I have run some Instagram ads, and thank you for the question. I don't tend to find, that's not where my sphere is, so I don't focus a lot on that. The success rates are about the same from what I've heard from everybody else, and so that's what I would say. I personally can't tell you that I have had a lot of success with it because I haven't done them, but our numbers and our stats show that they're about the same as Facebook. I think Instagram's hugely growing, and so I would recommend doing that for sure. Okay, so let's just try those. How come I'm not getting, let's see, confirm selection. There we go. Doing those 3 right there. Configure. What I'm trying to do is do an ad for multiple listings. The carousel media asked for filling in required fields, but there is nothing to fill in. So carousel media, let's skip to that and go carousel media. And so you're not seeing this. David, can you unmute your mic?
Sure can.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, so is this what you're seeing here and it's not asking you, it's not allowing you to do this?
I did all that already, and then I went through and got to the end, and it gave me this pink error at the top.
Okay.
And so when I go back, I saved it as a draft because it wouldn't finalize to publish, right? And so now when I reopen it up and I go to Carousel Media to configure, literally that entire section is gone, and it's replaced by each listing will be displayed separately with a photo and a carousel in your ad. For Facebook ads, you can choose an image for each listing below, drag and drop the listings to change their order, but it's not there.
Okay, so let's talk about support, and this is a great question about how to get support on this. And there's a couple of, and this is great for anybody that's on here. This is going to be really important for you to know. So every and I want you to know that things have changed over the past month on things since prior to family reunion. There was a hold time on tickets and support, and Gary recognized that and has made a huge commitment to agents to make sure that that has been resolved. And so if you had some tickets that might have been sitting out there and you weren't getting answers to questions, I want you to know that things have changed, and I want you to know what support is out there. So every region had been asked to hire a regional tech trainer, and that's my role. And so that's part of why I joined Ohio Valley. Super excited to be here, by the way. And part of my job was to find a market center tech trainer for every office. So in your market center, you have a market center tech trainer. If you don't know who they are, please ask your team leader or your OP or me, and we'll be happy to point you in their direction. They meet with me every Thursday, and we go through known glitches in the system, updates that are coming up, and we go through a teaching segment as well. In addition, they have access to all of the other tech trainers in the region and me. And so you have that as first line defense to help you with the problem. The next step would be to create a Loom video, and that's L-O-O-M, not Zoom, but Loom video, and it's super, super easy to do that. Go on to loom.com, create yourself an account, it's free, and you're gonna love it once you get used to it. It takes about 5 seconds to get used to it, and I wasn't even a techie person when I first discovered it. And the Loom video will capture your screen and what's going on in your screen. So you start at the beginning of what you do, you click record, it captures your screen, and then you click done, and it says, here's the link to your video. And so it's just a URL address. You're gonna copy and paste that into an email with the details of what's going on, and you're gonna email that to support@kw.com. And immediately, fairly immediately, within usually 10 minutes, you're gonna get a response back that gives you a support ticket number. And support really has been great at responding to those, and that gives them the ability to watch your video. You can also send that from time to time to me. However, support's really gonna be the best first line because they're more informed as to things, glitches that might be going on with that, David. And so they can probably say, oh, we're working on this, or this is what you're doing, a little quicker than I might be able to do. But I might from time to time say, hey, can you send me a Loom video on that as well? And then I can watch it and I'll send you a Loom video back teaching you how to fix it. And so support@kw.com. If you don't hear something within 5 days, the policy is you need to take that to your Market Center tech trainer, that support ticket number and that Loom video, and explain it to them. Just via email, send it to them and say, hey, can you escalate this? And your Market Center tech trainer has the ability to come straight to me with that ticket, and I have the ability to reach out to somebody directly at KW. And so that person has been awesome at speeding up the process on any tickets that are sitting out there and getting us some answers. So quite often it's just, hey, we have, this is what they're doing, and tell them to do this, and that solves the problem. So 99% user error. And so that's what I would like for you to do, David. I'd like for you to do a Loom video, record that, and then send that to support and to me, so I can know for this particular demo if you would send that to me, and then I'll try to figure out what's going on and see if it's a known issue. It's 11:01. We're 1 minute late. I know you guys need to sign off. I'm going to stay on for just a second, and because I want to write down all of your emails and all of these chats so that I can get the questions. So if you have questions, you can talk to me while I'm on here, but I'm going to be working and gathering this, and I will get these videos out to everybody. And if you have any questions, thank you, and I so appreciate your being here. Anybody else want to talk about questions while we're here? Otherwise, I'm not going to cover any more material. I'm still here if anybody has any questions as they're playing with this. All right, guys, I'm signing off. Thank you all for coming. Oh, wait, I got a new message.